Hi, this is Building Vocabulary Skills, Chapter 5. First, I'm going to say the words for you. Concede, conservative, contrary, denounce, deter, disclose, scapegoat, superficial, sustain, transition. Okay, the first word is concede. It's a verb. Our aunt hates to admit an error. She will never concede that she might be wrong. And the next, after pretending it was easy learning how to use the computer, Ross had to concede that he was struggling and ask for help. This word means to admit. It's similar to acknowledge that we had in the first chapter, but if you concede something, you're always conceding a mistake or that you don't know something or that you can't do something. It's something negative. Whereas acknowledge, you could be acknowledging something positive. You can also concede that you're defeated. For example, a politician might concede that they lost. The next word is conservative. It's an adjective. Lauren's conservative relatives were shocked when she broke with tradition and wore a rose-colored wedding gown. When the mayor suggested a new method of recycling garbage, a conservative member of the audience called out, "What we've been doing in the past is good enough. Why change things?" This word means traditional. You can be conservative in your religious beliefs or in your political beliefs. You can dress conservatively. It means kind of the way things have always been and been in the past. It's the opposite of modern. It's not positive, it's not negative, it's a neutral word. It just means traditional. The next word is contrary. It's an adjective. Clara's father insists that she share his views. He doesn't allow her to express an opinion contrary to his. Tisha and her husband have contrary ideas on how to spend a vacation. He wants to sleep on the beach for a week, but she prefers visiting museums. This word means different. You're usually comparing two different things. So in the first one, it says he doesn't allow her to express an opinion contrary to his. If you're using it in this way, you have to put contrary to. So his opinion is contrary to mine. His belief is contrary to hers. Otherwise, you put a noun after it. They have contrary ideas, they have contrary opinions, they have contrary research projects. The next word is denounce. It's a verb. In Nazi Germany, anyone who publicly denounced Hitler as cruel or mad risked imprisonment, torture, and death. And the second, when Eugene said he saw me steal from another student's locker, I denounced him as a liar. This word means to condemn. You are condemning somebody or saying that they're doing something wrong. You're calling out a bad behavior. So it's often also used in the political field. If a politician does something bad, people underneath them, other political people or newspapers, will denounce that behavior. It could also be somebody in a company, say the CEO, if they did something bad, the board of the company would denounce that person. Could also be for a teacher as well. Do something bad, you get denounced by other people. The next word is deter. It's a verb. No one is sure how much the threat of capital punishment deters murder. Beth's parents disapproved of her dating someone from a different culture, but their prejudice didn't deter her. She still dated Po Yin. This word means to discourage, or sometimes it means to stop. So, for example, my diet didn't deter me from eating pizza last night. In that particular case, deter, object, me, from, which is a pronoun, eating, which is a gerund. So if you're going to have from, then you have to have a gerund, which means ing after it. And the second one didn't deter her. It just has an object. So this always has an object after it. The next word is disclose. It's also a verb. When I applied for financial aid, I had to disclose my family's annual income, but it embarrassed me to reveal this information. The police didn't disclose all the facts of a murder to the newspapers. That way, there will be some information which only the murderer would know. Disclose means to reveal, to show the information, to tell the information. So when you are applying to school, you do have to disclose your financial information, your income, to the college in order to get financial aid. Most of the time, politicians have to disclose their tax information to the public. You could also say, if a stranger calls and asks you to disclose your social security number or your bank account number, don't do it. It's probably a trick. Number 7 is scapegoat. It's a noun. Several girls put dye into their high school swimming pool. In need of a scapegoat, they blamed another student who knew nothing about the prank. Because the manager wanted a scapegoat for his own mistake, he fired an innocent employee. This word means someone to blame. It's not the person who did it, it's just the person who gets the blame. So maybe the company of the CEO of a company did something bad. He didn't want to take the blame. He didn't want to get fired, so he found a scapegoat. So grammatically, you just say he or she was the scapegoat, not a scapegoat person, because it's just a noun. The next word is superficial. It's an adjective. Sal and Anita are interested only in appearances. They are so superficial that it's impossible to have deep friendships with them. My teacher said my essay on divorce was too superficial because I didn't go into the subject in detail. This word means lacking depth. It's the opposite of deep. So a person who's superficial might just talk about clothes or makeup or hair or light topics. They're not going to be talking about the meaning of life. If a wound or a cut on your body is superficial, it just barely cut through the skin. All you need to do is clean it up and put on a band-aid. You'll be totally fine. Sustain. My diets usually last 3 days at the most. I can't sustain my willpower any longer than that. An opera singer can sustain a high note for a long period of time. This word means to continue, to keep going. However, I want to say if you're confused about whether you should use sustain or to continue, I would almost always pick continue because sustain is only used for certain situations and certain words. So if you want to choose, honestly, I'd choose continue. Okay, the last word is transition. It's a noun. Mark's parents were amazed at how easily he made the transition from full-time student to full-time employee. The transition from being childless to being a parent is extreme, said the new father. Last week, only 2 quiet people lived at our house. Suddenly, we're sharing space with a 3rd noisy person. This word means a change. So in our life, we all have transitions. The transition from being out of school as a 4-year-old to in school as a 5-year-old. You transition from elementary to middle school, from middle school to high school, from high school to college. Whenever you came to the United States, that was a huge transition for you. Also, as you're going to learn in writing and in reading, they use transition words such as first, second, then, next, and finally. Those are all considered transition words. Okay, that's it for chapter 5. Thanks so much for listening and finish the rest of the chapter. Thank you.